Excellent. All right. The Highlanders and the Hurricanes. Returning this one, Nehe Milner-Skudder. Haha, the continual joke of the season. Very doubtful. We'll see him. I think he was a morale signing, boost the boys' morale. He's probably just applying for a coaching job, really, to be honest. He's had that many injuries. Tavita Nabura, could see him come back. Harry has, or Nels believes he played club rugby on the weekend.
I think he's played it actually the last 2 weekends, because I was thinking, as a roughie, if there was a chance for him to come on that side, I almost wanted to pick him up and carry him into this week. So I think he's actually played a few matches now.
Okay. Well, I wonder if this is the week to throw him in there, because, they know they can't win the competition. So
the only thing going against him is that Nareki and McKay were both very good on the weekend.
McKay actually earned his spot, I think. So, yeah.
That's fair.
Maybe we see him on the bench.
I still personally want to see McKay at 15. Don't get me wrong, Mitch Hunt's been actually all right. I don't think Mitch Hunt's at 15. I think he's at 10. But I would like to see McKay at 15, and I'd love to see Nabura or someone of his mould on the wing. But
yeah, look, I think that probably is the better option for them. Mitch Hunt was absolutely awesome as 12 at 10. I don't think he's a 15. He had a few moments in the back end of that game last week, but when he was playing 10, he was awesome. I can't see him as a 15.
He was awesome. Definitely not as good as Josh Ioane, though. I'll tell you that much.
That's right. And I kept saying last week that I thought the biggest issue with the Highlanders was the lack of punch in their team, and especially in their back line. Having two big wingers with Nareki and Nabura does solve that problem for them. It gives them, especially if they're coming in off their wings, it gives them that go forward that I think they're lacking.
Well, I think you're giving Nareki a lot of credit there. It's a big winger, mate. He's just a flyer.
But he goes over the ad line, mate. It doesn't matter how big Sever Reese isn't big either, but that guy gets gain line for days.
This is true. Man, I'm all about 100 kilo plus wingers. I'm not interested really, but can the Hurricanes bring Julian Sevilla on? Speaking of, no, okay, we know that won't happen either.
He's playing 12, by the way, in Clubland.
He played 12. Well, he had been playing. I think I said last week he'd been playing exclusively in the centres for Toulon over in France. Perhaps some people think in his old age of 30 years old that he's lost all of his speed.
Look, he's a good player. I wouldn't be too worried about him losing his speed and not being as good. But look, I think for the Highlanders to win this one, they're going to have to come out with that intensity they had last weekend, and they're going to have to maintain it for 80 minutes. And if they do that, they're going to be a really hard team to beat. We all know the Crusaders can finish a game better than anyone. So if they can do that early on in this one, they're going to have a lot better chance to hold it out after that heartbreak for them last weekend. The last time these two played each other, the Canes had 63% of possession and 67% of territory. So I think that's pretty bad stats. I don't know. Can you guys remember exactly the score last time they came up against each other?
Yeah, look, it was about 17. I think it was 17-11, and yeah, it was just the Hurricanes scored all their points in the first half or first 50, and then it was the Highlanders just all the last 30 minutes of the game. They just didn't leave themselves enough time to chase the game. So they need to combine both ends. Last week against Crusaders, they started really strongly, didn't finish strongly against, albeit the hardest team to finish strongly against, but they'll need to just play a full game of rugby this week.
Yeah, look, the Hurricanes, they score a lot of their points from scrums and lineouts in this New Zealand rugby comp, the Super Rugby Aotearoa. The Highlanders' lineout has actually probably been the most solid in the comp. So that's probably going to take away a few of those opportunities for the Hurricanes. It's a tough one to pick this one. I think I really want to lean towards the Highlanders. Yeah, how are you guys seeing this one play out?
Well, interestingly, I'll just say the last time they played at round 5, the Highlanders lost 5 of their 14 lineouts to the Hurricanes.
True.
So, no, they have been probably the strongest in the competition with Pari Parkinson absolutely killing it. But
well, we keep mentioning Pari, but I mean, it was pretty obvious that Wetton was the player calling all the line-out calls and attack last week. When he went off, that's when their line-out started to fall apart a little bit.
They
So
actually,
I think, if nothing else, I think they need to play both of their locks for big minutes.
I agree. And I think they actually said as well that Frizzell had been taking the most line-out catches as well. He
definitely took quite a few. You could see that on the weekend. He was an option that they used a fair bit.
For mine in this one, look, I think the Highlanders have a better pack. Just that back row, it's Tu'u, Frizzell, and Dylan Hunt up against Artie and who? No, okay, I won't rip on them that hard. Karifi's pretty good, but I don't know who'll be playing in 6. Probably Princip again. I know he's the working man's man, but see a champ. I want some fire. So I don't know, and I think in the last time they played, the Highlanders scrum certainly got the better of the Canes. They took them on one tight head. So I don't know. I think this will it'll all be about how they start the game. If they can start.
What's your pick, mate? What's your pick?
I actually think the Highlanders will win this. I'm going again for the underdog. But I just think the way they played last week, I mean, if it was against any other team other than there wasn't the Crusaders, they're winning that game. They played some absolutely incredible footy in that. I'm going to pick the Highlanders.
Yeah, I think I'm going to lean towards the way the Highlanders. I'll say they'll do it just maybe by 5 points or so. There's a few changes there with Usso and things in the centres, which will probably negate a little bit of the lack of that strength in the centres for the Highlanders. So I think they'll take that one out just high.
I don't know how we got this far without telling everyone that it's in Forsyth Bar Stadium, the home of fantasy points, under the roof, where it's going to be attacking footy. Don't we open with that every time the Highlanders play at home?
That's true. That's very disappointing.
Yes.
And look, the other thing I would say is they've lost 4 of their last 5 home games, 2 against Kiwi opposition. They beat the Chiefs at home, which, I mean, everyone beats the Chiefs these days. They're basically the Western Force. And then they lost to the Rebels and the Sharks.
I thought you were going to say the Nelson
as well. So their home record is looking very sketchy. I'm going to tip the momentum. The Hurricanes have been very, very good. They've beaten, the 2 biggest rivals in New Zealand in consecutive weeks. I think the Hurricanes are going to get it done in a tri-fest. And I reckon Peter Rumanga Jensen and Wes Huijsen are going to score 2 each.
Gaza.
Yeah.
Very good. I think if they were playing anyone other than the Chiefs following up the Crusaders, they weren't going to win that. But that's for mine. So very good. All right. Well, let's kick on to the next game, the real game, the money game, the only game we all want to say. The Blues and the Crusaders.
The could have been final.
The could have been final. That's correct. For the Blues, it still is a final. Just for the people of Auckland.
It's a final in the same way that Nelson playing fantasy footy this week is a final.
Got him, yes.
Means a lot.
Very good. The Blues and Crusaders, well, I think it was they'd barely finished the game. They barely won Super Rugby Aotearoa. And the commentators, Marshy, they had Razor Robertson on the sideline, and Justin Marshall was already asking him, what does this mean? What does this mean for next week? What are you going to do against the Blues? Are you just going to throw out a whole bunch of nobodies? Not that the Crusaders have any nobodies, but no, are you going to settle the second string boys out who haven't had some game time? What's the plan? And Razor was like, mate, can you just give me a second to enjoy this win? Have you chill out? But I suspect, look, I think it's very possible we do see some players rested. As much as it's going to be a pretty sold-out game in Auckland, and they want to give the people, a great game.
38,000 in the middle of last week, mate. It's a completely sold-out game.
Yeah.
Huge.
What I'm saying is, as much as they want to give a great game of footy to conclude the Super Rugby Aotearoa competition, I think we could see some changes. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Lester Flying-Ganuku come in and get a start. I think we'll still see some of the bigger names start. Richie Moe.
Richie Moe's gone, I'm telling you now. He's got his baby being born within the next week, and Razor already started talking about getting some new blood in there, but not too much. so that they ruin all the combinations. So Brett Cameron will be starting next week. Richie Moe won't even be on the bench, mate.
It's called positive reinforcement. If you keep saying it, you can will it into existence.
You're done.
Look,
mate.
I think
the Crusaders are done. You're done.
players that I think are safe. Will Jordan, Brad Neno, I think we'll see them play. Neno is obviously just getting back into it. Will Jordan, well, there's no competition for him at fullback.
Well, George Bridge could play fullback and Jordan might get a rest.
Harry, can you stop trashing my entire team, please?
It would be so good.
Makaleo, mate. I reckon Makaleo could get a start. It's been a few games.
Mate, he can't play more than 30 minutes anyway, 25 minutes. That's all he's got in the tank, mate. All right, Cody's got to completely lock down that all black jersey. Well, anyway, we could see some shuffling of positions in the Crusaders / All Blacks team. Hopefully not many much.
Well, I think you'll see a couple. I don't think you'll see tons. The Crusaders are going to want to win this one because if they end up losing against the Blues, it feels like a pretty hollow win for the competition. I don't think you're going to see bulk changes. Yes, maybe you will see the likes of Richie and one of the wingers rested. You're not going to see bulk. It's not going to be a B team for the Crusaders. They're going to want to come out. They're going to want to win this one. They know the job is not done. There was no breakdancing last weekend. They have a match to go. As far as they're concerned, they want to win.
That's true. And they want to see that breakdance. I mean, who doesn't? So,
how disappointing for the Crusaders that it wasn't a normal Super Rugby season because, let's be honest, they were winning that at a They should have been 4 in a row.
I know. Everyone's going to put an asterisk on this. Oh, yeah, 4 in a row. Yeah, sure, mate. It's 3.
Yeah.
No, mate. They were 100% winning. There's no one.
Near them.
All right. In terms of players returning for this one, there hasn't been any word still on Hoskins Satutu. We had a fantasy manager pick him up last week with the speculator.
I dropped him.
After Nelson dropped him. So I hope he comes back and plays.
He was poo for me.
Daniel Carter, could we see the old man calves on the bench for the Blues? I reckon just name him, and then even if he doesn't play, just just get the people excited.
Name him and pull him.
Yeah,
he's already
sitting on the bench.
I'll tell you a way to ensure that everyone who bought tickets to this game actually comes. Name Dan Carter on the bench. All right, they will come.
About last minute.
But that's it. Chibba Parsons coming back from a concussion. It'll be interesting. Do we see him just go straight back into start?
Well, he missed a couple of weeks in a row. So we don't have confirmation on any of these. You expect him to come back from a concussion, but being out for 2 or 3 weeks is a bit hairy. Ask Nelson; he's still concussed.
This is true. I don't know. With Parsons, I feel like every year could be his last year. So it's like this could be my last game at home in Auckland.
Yeah. You don't mess with your head, mate. So I don't think that comes into it if you've got a serious concussion.
Very good. And Tom Robinson, possibly coming back from a knee operation. Again, no word on him. But the big red dog, we love him. Although, would he find space in this team? Perhaps only on the bench at the moment. They've got such good back rowers. So
start him over Gibson, mate.
Well, I'm going to say if Satutu's back, mate, it's Akira Satutu, Dalton Papali'i all day. And this game is really obviously an All Blacks audition, but it's really the battle for those back row slots again. Fetu Douglas, who made a surprise comeback last week, even he'd be fancying himself for an All Blacks number 8, but he's got the pedigree playing for the Crusaders.
He's too old. I think he's like 28. I think he's missed the boat, to be honest. Sad.
I know. Well, I'm just saying, like, if it's ever going to happen for him, it's now. So
he's 29.
Yeah, we
could see him play. So anyway, just a few question marks. Not much information there, but just stay posted with us, and we will release anything as we get it. Other questions for the Blues. So we'll see with Parsons, Goodhue or Gerard Cowley to Aote. Gerard has had a few phenomenal games the last 2 starts he had. So that might have pushed Josh Goodhue to the bench. Obviously, Patrick Tuipulotu, the captain, will be starting. And you'd have to think would be a favourite for the All Blacks jersey. He's been crushing it. But I don't think there's that many selection questions, really. I think Finlay Christie played himself into another start. I think the backline basically picks itself. The only player who seems to be questioned has been TJ Farney at 12, but we all are on his him being starting at 12.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say so. I think he's been pretty solid, and he doesn't have any competition in my eyes.
Very good. So, in terms of some stats, the last time they played, the Blues had 60% possession and territory. They had more carries, meters, tackle busts, just a few less clean breaks.
I don't know if you guys remember this one. There wasn't a lot of run meters last time these guys came up against each other. The Crusaders only made 250 run meters, but still managed 25 tackle busts.
Mm.
So that is absurd. And the Blues only made 201 run meters, but still had 21 tackle busts. So I think guys were running backwards to bump people. I don't know how that stat works, to be fair.
I just remember it being test match defense, and I don't know that the Blues can get themselves up to that mental level again without the competition on the line. So I think that's going to be the sealer for me.
Look, I think for them, as far as they're concerned, they don't care the competition's no longer on the line. For them, this is as good as a final. This is them proving to their home fans that we are here. This was a serious year for us. And not just fizzle out at the back end of it for them.
I'm sure that's going to be the messaging all week,
but
it doesn't change the fact that it is not a final. Crusaders have won, and they can't not know that.
I think the feeling of it being a final is that
it's the last game.
It's the last game, exactly. If you win the last game, you feel like you won the competition. You know what I mean?
That's like Australia going, all right, guys, I know it's 2-0 in the Bledisloe, but last game wins.
Yeah. True. It's a bit like that.
No, I think there's a lot more motion behind this resurgence for the Blues and wanting to do it for their home fans that have already sold out the match. I think the Blues are going to come out firing in this one, and this is going to be their biggest game of the year, emotionally at the very least.
Very good. All right. Well, in terms of the other telling stat, when I was writing some notes for this one, I thought, look, the two crucial things with this game were going to be, I thought it was going to be discipline. And the last 20 minutes. We've talked a lot about the last 20 minutes and the Crusaders so far. The discipline, interestingly, in the last game, the Blues had half the penalties the Crusaders did. It was 6-12. So they were disciplined, but the Crusaders still got away in those last 20 minutes. I think that the Crusaders only kicked 3 penalty goals in the first 60 minutes against the Blues, and then 2 tries and a penalty goal in the last 20. So honestly, we keep coming back to those last 20, but that's critical. The Crusaders, they pinched a few lineouts. The Blues, really big pack. They were dominating the scrums. They won a tight head against the Crusaders. So I expect them to really push that.
The Blues actually had the stronger line out of the two with 89% compared to the Crusaders, 82% last time these guys played. Look, it's for me, I think this is going to be, you guys are both looking confused. I'm actually looking at the stats right now.
Okay, no, I looked it up, but the Crusaders pinched 3 of the lineouts from the Blues.
Well, look, guys, I don't think it really matters too much. Who do we think is going to win this one? I think this is a pretty big matchup. I'd love to say we're going to see the Blues win. And just for shits and gigs, I'm going to think that maybe there will be a couple changes. Without Richie Mo, they're not going to have the same finish as the Crusaders normally would. I'm just going to go, why not? Let's just say the Blues are going to win this one. Even if I don't 100% believe it, the Blues are going to win this one by 3 in the last few minutes for the kick.
Cool. All right. Well, I'm going to say the Crusaders are going to win because the Crusaders are going to win.
Yeah, I'm with Kagi. The Crusaders are going to win. Mind you, they don't have Richie McCaw. They're not the same.
Richie McCaw. Wow. They haven't had Richie McCaw.
They're not the same team without Richie McCaw. They're still very good. But Richie Mo'unga.
The point is, if they don't have a Richie in their team.
That's right. I don't think they're the same team. And I still think they're going to win. Like I said, I just don't think the Blues are going to be emotionally up for it like they were last time. Last time was a gigantic effort.
Yeah,
and they
huge.
still came up short.